Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Call Girls Investment Club podcast. I'm Diana Becker, and this is my son.
I'm here to make things interesting and to make zero political statements in any direction or the other.
Yes, he's going to keep me from talking about politics at all, even though I believe politics does affect the stock market.
I think it does, but I don't want to make any statements about my own political alignments
Me
at this
neither.
time.
No, it's too dangerous, and we'll lose viewers. So, Michael, I thought I'd start with current events, which is the most boring thing in the world.
Well, I don't keep up with current events, so
Well, basically, the current events are basically Nancy Pelosi's hair and Donald Trump's supposed comments, and
your political alignment is obvious from the start.
Well, I think they're both silly, and they should be focused on other things. But
Did you hear about Joe Biden and the having an Animal Crossing island?
What?
Where like he has all these Animal Crossing custom designs you can get that say vote for Biden. So you can put a sign out in front of your house that says vote for Biden.
That's actually a very smart move.
I don't think it is. I think because I've seen him get backlash for it because a lot of people are like it's like what Hillary Clinton did when she said Pokemon go to the polls, and it's like it isn't appealing to what the people on the left really want, which is what they want is they want less student debt, they want less like problems because their lives are in ruin. And so what they want is they want an acknowledgement of that rather than what Joe Biden is doing. I don't know. I saw one video that Dan sent me.
Okay, I don't want to go into either one of these, but so
let's do it. Let's have a politics podcast right here, right now.
I have a question. Do you think that one or the other of the two presidential candidates, Republican or Democrat, is better or worse for the stock market?
I don't study the stock market, so I can't answer that question.
Okay. So I'm really
However, I think that Donald Trump is a better Republican candidate than Joe Biden is a good Democratic candidate. Donald Trump feels more aligned with what most of the Republican Party wants, whereas Joe Biden is just like, oh, whatever, we'll vote for him so we won't get someone who's a Republican.
Yeah. I'm gonna move on.
Okay, cool. Let's move on. You started.
Also, in the news, Nintendo
is remaking Mario games.
I think Nintendo's genius. And guess what?
But they're only releasing it for a limited time.
What do you mean? They're not going to let you buy it after a certain time period?
Yeah, literally that's what I was told. I'm not 100% certain on this, but it's like apparently the Mario 3D remakes are all going to be only available for a limited time because it's for Mario's 35th anniversary, and they'll just take it off the eShop.
The reason I bring up Nintendo is that's an interest of Michael's. So if you were buying stock, do you think Nintendo would be a good stock?
No. They are an impossible to predict company, and also they're a foreign company, which means you can't buy options.
You can't buy options? I forgot that.
Yeah, you said that to me once.
Oh,
remember?
Really? Because it's NTDOY on the stock market. NTDOY. It's I forgot the name of it, but it's like when you have a foreign company, sometimes they'll do a surrogate kind of stock.
Maybe there is one.
Maybe there is a way to buy options on that. But guess what? Okay, Tesla is my favorite always, but I haven't been following it lately because I've been onto this new thing. My new thing is the triple leverage NASDAQ, which is TQQQ. And they've done really, really well. They made like a 50% return in the last month. Well, Tesla made a 75% return in the last month. But in the last 2 days, Tesla lost like 15%, and so did NASDAQ. Nintendo's up.
Well, yeah, they're up. They just made their first announcement in like months. They've been like radio silent except for that one time when they announced Shin Megami Tensei, and that's not even one of their games. That's just an obscure Atlas game that is, I guess, more popular in Japan than it is here. I hope it'll be more popular. I love Shin Megami Tensei. But it's like that was their only big announcement for like months, and it's like, what about this Zelda? What you said there'd be a Breath of the Wild sequel, and it's like they're just being radio silent, and probably the virus is not helping on that front.
Well, I thought the virus is helping Nintendo because everybody's home playing Animal Crossing. And instead of coming out with new things, they've just kept improving Animal Crossing, making it better. So people are just stuck obsessing with it, even me, you know?
Right, right. And I think that's definitely important. I've heard that it's actually very difficult for people in Japan because they're so used to working together in the office that they're not really used to the whole working remotely. Whereas more American companies have been doing Zoom, they've been doing they've been using GitHub, they've been using all these tools for a while now, so they're more used to it and they're more able to
Wait,
incorporate it into their
you're losing
workflow.
me. Are you talking about the employees of Nintendo?
Yeah,
Oh,
the people
okay.
who are actually developing the games.
That's a lot of stuff in the news. Do you know what happened in the last couple days on the stock market?
It went really down.
Yeah, it was like a big headline. So,
So why
do you
did
know
it go
why?
down?
Yeah, I was going to tell you why. So, the reason it went down mainly is because all these stocks have been gaining, and all these people on Wall Street are like, "Oh, these companies are not worth that much." But people are going crazy and they don't have anything else to buy. They're buying the stock market because when little businesses fail, these big businesses that are on the stock market are just going to do that much better. So, up until the end of August, it was gaining. Well, the big companies on Wall Street have rules, and the rules are like you can only own a certain percentage of any one company. So when Tesla went way up and doubled its value, all of a sudden their holdings in Tesla were double what they were. So they're required by their rules, their internal rules, to sell some of that. So they
Oh,
all, September 1st, they all started selling some.
oh my God! Wait, so the
So that's
stock
number
market
one.
went way down because the stock market went way up.
Yeah, exactly. And my theory about the stock market is it's kind of like an oscillating wave with little oscillating waves on it, with tiny little oscillating waves on that. And the whole thing is kind of moving upward always, in my opinion. When I was a kid, like a high schooler, actually, I was a college kid, it was 1760. And I was like, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was 1760. It's something like, I don't even know what it is because I don't follow the Dow anymore, but it's like 10 to 30 times that now. I don't know. It's crazy. So I feel like it's always going up in general.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever investigated what other nations' stock markets look like, and if they also have that upward trend? Because I feel like if you investigated that, you might be able to find more data as to why the stock market has this gradual climb, and maybe you'll be able to spot if something were to happen that would disrupt that.
Well, I was actually in the shower today. I had a theory about why the stock market is going up. Always. I always, as a kid, had the theory that the government wants to look good, so they're always going to prop it up when it goes down too much. But this other idea I have is that our debt, our national debt, keeps getting higher. They keep what they call printing money, which means there's more and more money in circulation, making more and more inflation because that keeps the economy going. So I feel like that's a never-ending cycle where they're just constantly making our money worth a little less, and it's propping up the market more and more.
I think that might not be accurate because if that's the case, then wouldn't it be that it would rise the same way inflation rises?
So you're saying with higher inflation, people would have less money to invest?
I'm saying if it's equal, then wouldn't it be that you're no richer today for having invested in the stock market in that gradual upscale than you would be yesterday?
That might be. I don't know. That might be true, but the thing is,
But you're buying options, so you're actually making okay. No, never mind. That's not the case if you're buying options.
so the reason I started this group is I'm buying options. It's called the Call Girls Investment Club because I buy call options, which are positive bets for a stock.
Don't buy options if the stock goes down.
Don't buy call options, buy put options, but I don't do that. I just want to keep it simple. My goal used to be to make those big bucks to save the house or to pay off this or whatever, which I did multiple times. Like on Tesla, I made millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But then I started realizing $1 million wasn't enough to retire on in LA. So I started thinking, I need to make more, and by risking more, I ended up like going back down, losing some. So then I realized it's more important to make a consistent income. That sounds kind of dumb because I feel like that's what they're always telling you, but
It takes a while to learn stuff, even if everyone's always saying it. I think it's important to understand also on a fundamental why people are saying it, so you don't just blindly follow someone else's advice.
Well, I really know why.
Yeah.
Personal experience. But honestly, the fact that I made $1 million multiple times made me get a lot of confidence, and I am really glad for that experience. And I feel like I could do it again easily. Um,
I don't know if this is a company that's even on the stock market. They might be on the Japanese stock market or whatever. I don't know. But as for video game companies, Atlas has been hitting it out of the park lately. They've got they've been just they've been
okay, let's look them up.
I
I
don't know
think we
if
should
they're
look them up. Do
I
you
don't
have your
know.
cell phone?
Let me look it up real quick.
Here, you want me to hold your mic?
Hang on.
So, search. This is how you're going to find if your company that you're interested in has a stock. You're going to search Atlas ticker.
I'm not sure if this is the correct Atlas.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of companies called Atlas. Oh, sorry, I wasn't
This is Atlas Group Ontario. That doesn't seem right.
Ontario.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Oh,
Japanese. That's not in Canada.
well, it could be a branch of that Atlas. And okay, so maybe we should check this out later if we think it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're very cool. They're very good. Oh, actually, no, they're owned by Sega. What's Sega like?
SEGA, I think is the ticker.
Just the name.
Yeah, I think so.
Sega
Look up
ticker.
stock chart or yeah, Sega ticker.
Oh, they're going up. I
So
think.
what's their ticker?
Wait, no, that's not the is that the correct Sega? Is this Sega the game company?
Sega Sammy Holder ADR. Okay, so an ADR is what I was talking about when you have a foreign company and they have a like a virtual version of it on our stock market, but it's $2.80. Okay, this is
Oh
here.
no, they're going down.
Here, have this. I want to talk about any stock that's under $3. There's this thing where when it's under $3, it's considered a penny stock, so it's not regulated as thoroughly. So like it's could be a bunch of bullshit on their books. You know, their accounting could be just crap. And I never buy anything under $3, and my Schwab account won't let me buy anything under $3 on margin because they know it's real risky. So
Right.
like people have written to me inquiring like, what do you think of the stock? And anything under $3, I don't know anything about those stocks.
That's a good point.
Um, so yeah, people have been asking me advice, and this is like a big trap because this is something I wanted to get onto. Whenever somebody asks me advice, it's like a huge problem for me because everybody's risk appetite's different. Everybody's in a different time frame. If you tell somebody the stock market's going up, you're right. If you tell someone the stock market's going down, you're right. It's like a time frame thing. So like people are asking me, while the stock market's crashing, oh, should I sell? And they're like, I have these long-term holdings, and I'm like assuming that they have stocks, not options, because options you're on a time pressure. But also what is long term to one person might be different than someone else, and like it always puts me in a weird position when people ask me questions because I'll like start to give them advice and then I'll realize how stupid, and I'll change my mind, and I'll give them both sides, like sell, buy, hold. And I did that. I did that yesterday, and then I was like mortified because I realized I told this woman I felt like this drop in the stock market is a short-term blip, and I feel like the Nasdaq's going to keep going up. The reason I think this is because the Nasdaq's made out of all the technology stocks, which are going to be the leaders anyway. And then with the pandemic, even more so. And then with the pandemic, people didn't really want to invest in these other things, just the ones that were the winners. And then all these other companies are falling by the wayside, like these little shops that are closing. Meanwhile, Amazon's growing. So I felt like the Nasdaq is kind of like in this upward momentum, and I heard a lot of people talk about it on the radio saying they felt like there was going to be a pullback and then it would keep going up. And here's, in fact, even earlier in the week, I told people September is usually down month. Be careful, sell your stuff. And then people were asking me the next day when it went down if they should sell. And I was like, you should have sold yesterday. I don't know, but I'm not an expert. You know, I just know I created my own routine. I did spreadsheet after spreadsheet. I got a routine that works, that I make 10% a day, like 97% of the time. And then there's those days when it's down. So, like, there's this psychology going on. of when it's a down day and I can't make money, do I recognize it and sell quickly, which I did. But then I was a
And
fool.
you tried to go back in.
I tried. I couldn't. I told all my followers, don't buy for 3 days because the people selling the Tesla stock have to sell it over a period of time.
Are you still in any of these?
No, I sold everything.
Okay, good.
So then when I sold everything, I'm like rooting for it to go down. Just go way down. Go way down. So it did this little V and hopped up, and then I'm like, no. But I didn't go back in. No. But you know what that proved? Today it went down and then it went back up halfway. So basically my routine is I typically like buy near the beginning, and then when it goes way down, I buy it near the bottom. I usually can recognize the bottom. Of course, when it's really stumbling and tumbling down, I think I see a bottom and I don't, because that's an unusual occurrence. This is a really record-breaking day on Thursday. So
Right.
so those days I have to avoid. But trading options, I'm only trading with 1/10 the money. So on a day when if I were to lose everything that I bet, it would still be worth it. I'd still make money statistically over time. That's
Right.
what I figured out. So it's more a money management thing that's making a profit for me than this actual genius move of what I'm buying or how I'm well, that's kind of good too, but I don't want to tell anybody that what the things that I figured out, because in the past when I tell people my routine, a lot of people copy it and then it kind of ruins it. It's too many people are doing it and then the price doesn't do the same thing.
Right. That's a
So
good point.
keep it to myself. But
Do you have
I feel
anything
like,
to add to this?
there's a cat down there. Bring her up. Let's interview her.
Can you repeat that?
She said fresh pet.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Too expensive.
We're not sponsored.
So anyway, there's all these my whole point being there's a lot of psychological issues
Yes.
when people. So I trade options. I promised everyone I was going to explain how to start trading. So we should get to that.
So what would you recommend as a good stock or whatever for first timers to use?
So
And I think I know the answer to this.
yes, you do. And first thing I want to say is you have to get an account. You have to get an account at like Schwab or Robinhood or wherever. Schwab doesn't have that minimum anymore. You don't have to have 10,000 to set up an account, apparently.
Really?
I'm confused. Maybe you have to have 10. You do have to have option trading experience to trade options. So if you were going to trade options, you'd have to tell Schwab that you have experience, which I'm not telling you to lie, but I'm just telling you the truth.
No, you don't understand. I need option experience to trade options.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Let me trade options.
You can't do it. So it's like they just want you to lose with somebody else, so you don't sue them, I guess.
Well, I think that makes sense because I've heard that there was a ton of traders on Reddit where like this one guy got banned from like a marketing stock trading subreddit for bad advice, so he went and created his own subreddit, and so many people like joined, and it was just a mess of bad trading advice all over the place, and they all bought options on stocks that were going way down, and it was a mess.
Oh yeah, see, I worry about that too with giving. I don't want to give advice. A whole bunch of people.
The thing about options is you can only really play with them if you're confident in your ability to predict the market.
Yeah, you have to be confident.
Because the thing about options, I'm not saying be confident if
Don't
you're
be
going to be
wrongly
wrong.
confident.
Don't be wrong.
You
Not
can't be
don't
wrong.
be confident. Don't be wrong. Because with options, you can make 10 times the profit, but you can lose all of it.
100%. 100%. 10 times a loss is often 100%.
Yeah. So
what was your question? Oh, you were saying what to buy as a newcomer, and I feel like a ETF, which is an exchange traded fund, basically something that is a whole basket of stocks. You have less exposure to weird things happening with one company.
right.
So like Tesla went way up. Well, the TQQQ is the Nasdaq. It's like a basket of stocks. It's triple leverage, so I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend the QQQ.
What does the T stand for?
Triple. So QQQ.
Well, then wait. Why are there 3 Qs if it already says triple? Can't it just be TQ for triple Q?
Because QQQ is the NASDAQ, and that's already triple, so you got to
It's
triple it again.
it's triple QQ. Oh god.
Well, here's the thing. When Tesla went up, Tesla's a big part of the NASDAQ. So when Tesla went up, I was making money off Tesla by owning the TQQQ, but it was a little more subtle. But I mean, the NASDAQ goes up more subtly, but it's tripled because I'm very confident in my ability. So I'm buying this thing that goes way up and way down. So, like the day of that crash, Thursday, it went down like 15-20%. In the options, you pretty much multiply that by 10. So you'd probably lose 100% because it would be down at negative, you know.
Right.
I don't know. I sold it right away because I have also this thing. I did multiple spreadsheets on the TQQQ, and I've seen patterns in the first 6 minutes. Believe it or not, I have this way of seeing a pattern in the first 6 minutes that'll tell me if it's going up or down. And it told me it was going down, and I still bought it. I still bought it. Well, actually, I bought it before the 6 minutes, and then I saw it like 4 minutes. It was going the wrong way, and at 6 minutes, and so that's why I bailed the first time. But then I thought I saw the bottom, but it was just straight down the whole day. So yeah.
This is getting too complicated for me. I'm gonna go back to 5D
Oh,
chess
no.
with multiverse time travel.
Okay, this is why you're here. Okay, so I'm talking about too much stuff. I'm talking about, but please bear with us. You'll figure it out. If you look at anything long enough, you can figure it out. I always say that, don't I? I
Yeah,
love that saying.
you
I
just
made that
have
up.
you have to build up a sort of second sight through. You have to interact with the stock market a lot because if you interact with anything a whole lot, you start to see patterns. You start to learn how to read into it. Like it's like when I started playing Smash Bros. And if I kept playing Smash Bros. Enough, I got to the point where I could look at the other character and go, they're going to move here, and so I'm gonna
Yeah.
move there and be ready for it.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to read the stock market.
Yeah, actually, I look at charts and I see stuff like if a stock comes up to a certain number, like 3,200, the S&P say, and then it bounces around there for a while. It's like in a round number. It's weird how people just get stuck on round numbers and nobody wants to go past the round number. And then eventually it goes up past 3,200 and everyone goes, "Oh, yay, now it's going to 3,300." And they all pile in, and right when it breaks through this resistance level they call it, then it shoots up to the next area. So when it was declining, you also coming down, those areas that used to be the ceiling are now the floor. So it was coming down and it came down to 3,500. And I saw there had been a lot of activity in the past at 35. So I thought, oh, it's going to hesitate here, probably go down to 34 because it climbed so fast last month.
Right.
And it actually did. It stopped on Thursday at 34.50. So, but then today it went down more.
Oh no.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm just taking a break. There's a lot of psychological things you have to do. So I just took a break. And it
Makes
went up.
sense.
It went up. But my goal for trading stocks is to make 1,000 a day, 2,000 a day, and to have a life. I don't want to sit there all day watching the stock market. So my goal is to make decisions, do it, and then get out. So even though it went up in the rest of the day, I wasn't kicking myself. Give me 5, because for once I wasn't kicking myself.
It's
I was
very
like, I
wise.
have a life. I have a life.
Very wise.
We talked about psychology. Here, let me just look at my notes. We talked about my mistake. Yeah, it's important to always admit your mistakes. So be flexible. Yeah.
Oh well,
so-
you wrote up a whole dang schedule for this. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, being flexible.
How could you possibly predict what I would say?
Isn't that funny? Okay, so magic. I want to say you have to have some faith in yourself or envision yourself being successful. So I say magic, but I believe little magical things about the future. I like predicting in the future and stuff just because it helps me to maintain
We're gonna lose all
Okay.
our viewers. The viewer counts. There they
Okay.
go.
I'm just
There
gonna
they
cut
go.
that
They're
out.
running. They're going
Yeah.
away.
Goodbye.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I'm cutting that out. I'm not going to include that.
No, we're not. We gotta keep talking about it. We've got to dig deeper into the rabbit hole here.
Well, honestly, the main thing I did. Okay, so here's the essence of magic. People are afraid, and there was an article that came out today about the difference between millionaires and the middle class, and one of the key differences is millionaires overcome their fear with knowledge. So basically,
Or they just get born into a rich family.
maybe they're raised to conquer their fears by their parents. I don't know. But for me, I did spreadsheet after spreadsheet. I do spreadsheets all the time. I still look for patterns. And the reason I can stay, somebody asked me on my Facebook club yesterday, how do you stay cool when you're day trading? How do you do it? I tried it and I immediately panicked. And I'm like, well, yeah, I would have panicked on Thursday too if that was my first time trying day trading. But the way I stay cool is because I've done all these statistical studies and I know that 97% of the time I'm going to make a profit with this if I stick to my rules. If it's the other 3%, it's okay. It's okay to lose some. You win some and you lose some. I just finally realized that today.
Just don't bet at all.
Yeah, never. Yeah, you got to money manage so that you're not. So here's the thing, trading options, you can trade with like a tenth of your money and make a reasonable profit. Stocks, you can't. So I feel like options are the great equalizer with. I feel like the poor and people who don't have a lot of
Well,
money,
they're the great equalizer that no one can access because no one lets them access them unless
because
they've
you have
got
to
a
have
ton of
options.
experience.
Yes.
So really, they're not the great
It's a
equalizer
secret.
at all.
It's a secret, and I'm blowing it by telling people. But all the guys on Wall Street are talking a lot about how there's a lot of amateurs in options right now, and I feel partially responsible because I started this club. I started this club in 2013.
It might actually be partially your fault.
It might be. I started this club in 2013. I kept talking about options and how great it is and how much money you can make. And I made like $1 million on Tesla options when I was like broke. So, I mean, I had made so much on Tesla stock over the years. And then when I had no money, I realized I could make a ton on options. And I actually saved our house for several years because of that options trade. And so I started.
Here's the real secret to the stock market is that there isn't really a secret to the stock market. And there's all these strategies. But at its core, if you can't tell when something's going to go up and when something's going to go down, you can't make money on the stock market, from what I can tell.
I disagree because I feel like you can statistically make money if you make wise choices, which is what.
Well, yeah, but that's making wise
that's
choices.
not big money.
In order to make wise choice, in order to tell what to invest in, if it's a good time to invest, how much you should invest, you have to know what the context of the current day is, and but really, I think just being constantly involved with it is how you pick up on that.
Yeah, and the way to do that is to actually buy something. Don't just sit there looking at it. Because if you actually buy something, then you have an interest in it that's going to make you check on it.
Right.
And you're going to see how it reacts to things. Like sometimes there's good news and the stock will go up. Sometimes there's good news and the stock will go down. Like
Right.
today, there was good news. This is Friday. We're recording this. There was this huge news about unemployment rates are down to single digits. They didn't think that would happen this year. So many people went back to work that the unemployment rate's 8%. That's really good news, except that's bad news because they're trying to negotiate the relief package in Congress, which is taking forever. Politics. They're fighting constantly. They're not getting anything done. Now they have this figure of 8% unemployment. What's their incentive to rescue everybody with another relief package? Now it's sort of like, well, they're all going back to work. We can just put it off for another. That's the concern. And also all the small businesses not getting help. So in a way, you get good news. Sometimes it's bad news. So when they refer to like the Goldilocks scenario, that's when it's kind of medium news and stuff can keep going up. I want to say something else about when you need to know everything about the stock market, which is I listen to Jim Cramer. A lot of people think he's a buffoon, maybe. I don't know, but I think he's really on point on a lot of things because he does interviews with CEOs all the time. He does interviews with traders all the time. His finger's on the pulse. He knows, he's seen everything a million times. So,
Why do people think he's a buffoon?
because he yells,
What
throws
do you-
things.
That's just what
He's a
YouTubers
showman.
do. It's just what you look
Yeah,
at.
he was ahead of his time.
Call me Carson.
So basically, when I hear Jim Cramer talk about different things, I hear the tone of his voice. He warned people last week: take some off the table, sell some. You made a lot of profit. He warned them, and then he went on vacation. And every time he goes on vacation, that's when the stock market declines. And I saw that, and I warned everybody in my group: hey, September's typically a down month. Jim Cramer said to sell some. Jim Cramer went on vacation. And then he even came on Twitter again today, Friday, and he warned people to sell some, even though they lost all that money Thursday. So I told all my friends that I had given advice to, look at this. This is a warning. Jim Cramer's saying sell more.
Jim Cramer's show radiates an energy that I think is comparable to early internet. You know what? You know what it reminds me of? It's the same energy as iCarly.
There's a lot of...
It's literally is just like, I could imagine if iCarly, not iCarly the show, but the show within the show, the web show they do, if they could totally do a thing where they have a big soundboard with a bunch of crazy sound effects, and like if their web show was about stock trading, it would be Jim Cramer's show. No, you're doing it!
Yeah, we have that.
Hang on, I want to see what all these do.
No, please. You have to hit them a second time to make them stop. Oh my god. Yeah! Woo! Okay, please come back. That's a good one to end on. Are you happy now?
I am very happy that I get to mess with your
what's
show.
what's the company that makes this? You know, so many people started podcasts. I wonder,
Rode.
I don't know who makes that. Can I please tell something about a person who gives advice? There's a guy named David Portnoy. Have you ever heard of him?
I've not heard of David Portnoy.
There's also all these Reddit feeds where people talk about stocks and people give each other advice and stuff. So David Portnoy is this sports betting guy that a lot of people are listening to on the stock market now because everybody's sitting at home during COVID. He got into the stock market because he had nothing better to do because there's no sports. So he told everybody if Tesla ends higher, we're going to the moon or something. And I feel like some of these people, I shouldn't probably name him. Maybe I should edit that. But there's a lot of people giving advice. And I'll tell you what the temptation is. When I started Call Girls, I'd buy something and then I'd tell everybody about it after I bought it. Because number one, I don't want them all buying it before me and have the price go up, right? But then when you tell them after you bought something that it's good, of course people are going to follow you and buy it, right? And that's going to force it up, and then you're going to make money. I feel like there's a temptation among these guys to push whatever it is they're holding, like the short sellers during Tesla's day when the short sellers were attacking it.
That's actually a really good point.
They would come out with an article about how bad Tesla was. They'd drive it down, and that's when they'd sell. And I mean, that's when they'd buy and cover their short. So they're basically manipulating the stock with their stock advice. So I feel like you have to watch out for people like this. So I feel like this guy David Portnoy, is saying this about Tesla going to the moon and all this stuff. I feel like I don't know him.
That's that's a really good point. Is that
I got that vibe reading that tweet. Is he trying to push it up so he can sell it?
In the stock market.
The problem with Tesla is they're selling tons of stock. They're selling tons of stock. They're gonna lower the value of the stock that people have. So it should go down.
I have a big point I want to make here, which is that in the context of the stock market, the number of people giving advice who aren't also trading is always going to be zero. There is no such thing as unbiased stock market advice.
Oh yeah, I never really thought about that.
It's impossible.
You can't
by
have
the
advice
very
if you
nature
don't.
of what it is, for anyone to tell you anything about the stock market and not have some form of personal stake in it.
And they always their stake is disclosed, and it's always in support of what they're saying, like, "Oh, I think you should go out and buy Tesla. I own Tesla." Disclosure.
Well,
Well,
of
of
course you
course
own
you can sell
Tesla.
it the next day.
And of course you own it because
I think
if
there's
you
a
say
rule.
if you tell people to buy something, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy if you get to that point almost.
Are you going to start trading?
I might. I also want to say Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is a good game.
So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.